Hello, Bible readers. It's Wednesday, March 31st. We're reading Isaiah 32 to 36 and Romans chapter 7, verse 7 through chapter 8, verse 11. So today in Isaiah, we finish up the Jerusalem in the Eye of the Storm section, which ends with a liturgy of hope. And after that hopeful word, we then leave what would typically feel like an Isaiah section behind, and we get into a section that kind of stands on its own, very different from what comes before it and what comes after it, these prophecies about Edom and the exiles. Edom being the northern kingdom, of course, the exiles being about the southern kingdom. Chapter 34 and 35 are, like I say, kind of their own thing. 28 to 33 were the Eye of the Storm collection. Chapters 36 to 39, which we'll talk about more tomorrow, they're about Hezekiah and the fate of Jerusalem. But then you've got these two chapters, and they are two poems contrasting each other, one promising disaster for Edom, the other promising salvation for the exiles. And so it's its own little poetry moment within the prophecies and everything else that Isaiah as a prophetic book, maybe we'd expect more. As for our Romans text today, I was thinking about, how to talk about this whole conversation Paul's having about the law. And, there's main characters here. There's the law, there's sin, and there's this I. Paul's talking from a point of view where I this and I that. And it made me think about an analogy that somebody made to me over time. I don't know if it was a seminary professor or somebody, but is a knife a weapon? I remember was the question. And of course the answer is, well, it can be, right? But at its best, a knife is simply a tool that helps a person prepare vegetables or whatever, Sin twists the use of a knife into a weapon used by one human on another. That would be another way, at least the way I've processed these verses from Romans. It's another way to talk about the law, because Paul's saying, there's these three characters, law, sin, and me. And at its best, the law is a gift that is simply like a mirror showing me my sin. And that's useful so that I try not to do the sin. But the problem is that sin is able to twist the law into something different than a mirror. Sin deceives us, and by so doing is able to make the law, instead of a tool that's a mirror, it makes it a tool of judgment, really a tool of selfishness, a tool that shuts down life with judgment rather than giving life through freedom to love. I'm not being any more clear than Paul is. So he's saying the law was good. It was a gift from God, but sin was able to use a good gift from God and make from it a tool of judgment, which meant it was a tool of death. So the setup is that I am a slave, a servant, to the law of God with my mind, but with my flesh, I'm a slave to the law of sin. And what Paul is saying is it's a cosmic eschatological battle. And the I'm caught in the middle. So each of us is caught in the middle between the law of God, where our minds are, and the law of sin, where our flesh is. And we could do a whole study on flesh, what Paul means by sarkos, flesh. Chapter 8, verse 1, therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Jesus Christ. The law of the Spirit of life in Jesus Christ has set you free from the law of sin and death. And so the good news here is we are removed from this tug of war, this eschatological cosmic battle. We're removed from it altogether and freed in Jesus Christ to simply be. And we'll learn more about what we're freed to be tomorrow. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us at all times and in all places.